Welcome to Conversations with the Universe. Today, I'd like to talk about money. So take a slow, deep breath in. Hold that breath for a few moments before you gently let it go. And again, we're going to take a second deep breath in. Hold that breath for a couple of seconds before you exhale. Soften your shoulders, relax your jaw. There is nowhere else you need to be right now. There's nothing you need to figure out. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to become. Just be here, be present, and be grounded. Money might be the most misunderstood thing human beings have ever created. Not because it's complicated, but because we've confused money with meaning. Somewhere along the way, money stopped being something we used, and it became something we believed. We believe it says something about our intelligence or our worth, our success, the stability of our future, our safety. But money has never said any of those things. We did. Here's something I find extraordinary. Every single one of us inherited a relationship with money before we even earned our first dollar. Think about that. You didn't come into this world believing money was hard to earn, that you needed to struggle for it. You didn't come into this world believing that money was scarce or stressful. You weren't born believing wealthy people are greedy or that asking for more makes you selfish. You didn't come into this world believing that struggle somehow made money more honorable. You learned those things. Not because someone sat you down and taught you that, but because you watched. Children are always studying the adults around them, not their words, but their reactions. You watched your parents open bills. You watched conversations end because there wasn't enough money. You watched arguments. You watched relief. You watched anxiety. You watched people apologizing for wanting more. You watched people judge those who had more. And every one of those moments quietly answered a question that you never knew that you were asking. What does money mean? Then something fascinating happened. You forgot that those answers came from someone else. You repeated them so many times, they began to sound like your own voice. That's how beliefs work. They don't arrive announcing themselves. They arrive as observations. Then they become assumptions. And then they become your identity. Eventually, you stop saying, I believe money is hard. You simply say, money is hard. As though you've discovered a law of the universe, instead of just repeating a sentence that you've heard 1,000 times. Take a slow breath in and ask yourself something. If you'd been raised by people who believed creating wealth was joyful, that money expanded possibilities, and that receiving was as natural as giving, would your life feel different today? Of course it would. Not because money changed, but because the story changed. We spend so much of our lives trying to change our circumstances. Very few of us stop to question the lens through which we're looking at them. Yet the lens creates the experience. Two people can earn exactly the same income. One feels trapped and the other feels hopeful. The money isn't creating the difference, the meaning is. Just imagine for a minute that every belief you've ever held about money has been written in pencil. Not carved in stone, not woven into the fabric of the universe, just written in pencil. For years, you've assumed those words were permanent. Today, pick up an eraser. You don't have to erase everything. Just begin one sentence at a time. Money is hard. No, it's not. Erase it. I'll never get ahead. No, you will. Erase that. People like me don't become wealthy. Erase it. You don't have to pretend that those thoughts never existed. But you have to remember that they were never facts. They're only stories, and stories can be rewritten. That is what makes them stories. Take another slow breath in. Feel how different this is, the idea that you don't have to force yourself to believe that you're going to become wealthy. You don't have to repeat affirmations that you don't yet believe. You only have to become willing to question the stories that you have mistaken for truth. That willingness to question things changes everything, because the moment a belief is questioned, it loses its authority. It no longer gets to quietly make the decisions for you, and it no longer gets to define what's possible. Money has been waiting very patiently, not for you to become someone else, not for you to work yourself into exhaustion or prove your worth. It's simply waiting for a different story. So think about that. If my beliefs about money were inherited, what else is possible? Stay with that question. You don't have to rush to answer it. Questions this important have a way of changing us long before they have words. If my beliefs about money were inherited, what else is possible? Thanks for spending these moments with me. Until next time.